I can't tell you how many people I've spoken to who have a Surface Duo that is cracked or broken in some way. And one of the most common questions I get about this device is what's the best way to protect it? And generally speaking, what I tell people is, just put the bumper on that it comes with, put a vinyl skin on it, and cross your fingers. That's really about all you can do. I mean, there are some really nice cases out there. I've reviewed this one here from Noriv, I'm not sure how you're supposed to pronounce it. It's a French company. This is like real leather. It's handmade, and it's really, really cool. I mean, it feels fantastic, right? Let me slip it in here, and I'll show you, though, why it's not a super duper great solution, because it's the same problem that I think most of these cases run into. So when it's on there, yeah, you look sleek, you look protected. Book mode is absolutely fine, but you can probably guess where the problem is going to be. Phone mode is just not a thing anymore. You just can't really use it that way with a case like this on here. Yes, it is safer, but you've sacrificed a ton in terms of functionality. So I want to show you something here today. This is a Kickstarter campaign, I guess is the correct word, for a case made for Surface Duo and made by basically one of us, a Surface Duo fan. You know already that I can't grab one here because it's being used, but the Duo dock is a great example of something similar, where a Duo fan saw a need for something. It wasn't available, so they just made it themselves. They 3D printed. I'll drop a link to Duo Dock's website down below. I use one literally every day. My Duo is in one right now. My Duo 1 usually is in one as well. They're fantastic. This is similar to that, right? This is someone just taking it into their own hands and saying, fine, I'll make it myself. So this is the Kickstarter page. We're going to watch a video, but we're not going to watch it on Kickstarter because I hate their big bar down here. So we're going to go to their YouTube page. We're going to watch it there. So the first thing you're going to notice before they put this on is this strip of adhesive there and there. And that's the first thing that we need to talk about. So back over on the Kickstarter page, you'll see a little bit of information here. Gecko grip rubber is fully washable and creates an adhesive-free bond that holds reliably and can be attached and removed repeatedly. Apparently, this uses a similar method to stick to things as a gecko's foot does to stick to something like glass. And of course, this does not involve adhesive. This person seems to be confident that this will both hold on to your Duo, but also be able to detach from it and reattach as many times as you need without degrading. This is something I'm going to really need to see in my mind to believe, but there it is. Apparently this is a thing. Apparently it's a thing that's used in other applications and it's known about. I don't know about it, but I guess it's a thing. So let's play the video forward and we'll see how this works. So he puts it down, applies a little bit of pressure, and it sticks, applies a little bit of pressure on the other side, and there you go. You've got a situation that's, similar to that. Then you can open it up into book mode, and yeah, same kind of thing. You get a little bit of a bulge down there, but that's just because how physics works. It's going to bunch up down there because of that. But unlike this, when you want to go into phone mode, there's no real good way to do it. Well, with this thing, the Do-Over case, which I haven't said the name of it yet, it's called the Do-Over case, you can simply detach that gecko's foot adhesive, open your phone up into phone mode, and then stick it back down on the back screen of the device and just carry on. And by doing this, that screen on the back is actually protected at that point. He's also added a magnet to one side so that your Surface Pen will stick to it, which is a pretty nice, thoughtful touch. Here he is detaching it and rolling it up and sticking it to itself to create a sort of stand situation, but not just a normal like tent mode stand, but a stand where you have both screens there exposed, rotated around. That's a pretty cool idea as well. So as we scroll through this, you can really see what he's thinking here. It's kind of got that moleskin-esque look to it, which I do appreciate. Phone mode is retained. Granted, there's going to be a little bit of a gap, but for those of us using Duo 2, not a big problem. I don't think it's going to be a big problem here either. Multiple standing modes, so you could actually use the back to kind of stand it up upright like that as well. Right now, there are 42 backers. They are quite close to hitting their goal of $1,999. And you can see here as well that pledging 19 or more makes you one of the first people to receive the Do-Over for Surface Duo or Surface Duo 2 once it is actually released. So $20 on Kickstarter to reserve this thing. And then afterwards, it's going to be $40, which is still like not all that expensive at all. Like that's as much as the bumper. Like this person is not selling this to make a ton of money. So that's a pretty darn good price if you ask me. Speaking of asking me, I did ask them on Twitter if they could explain a bit more about that adhesive, because I think that's the biggest thing that I'm skeptical about, and this was their response. We'll just read it here. The Duo reuses the material with thousands, potentially millions of tiny folds on silicone. This creates an adhesive-free physical bond rather than a chemical bond like adhesives, which is why it can be cleaned and washed and will still stick. It works similar to a gecko's foot. There are many different ways and patterns in which you can distribute these folds, some having advantages/disadvantages over others. There is a consumer product called Nano Tape that works in the exact same principle, but our material is rigid and not as soft and deformable as that product. He says that what he's been using has held up very well for him over the last 2 months of testing, but he does plan to change it to a solid color so that it will look a little bit better and match that inner lining. It didn't actually mention the inner lining, but apparently it is some sort of velvet, jeweler's velvet inner lining, which will help, prevent any kind of scratches from the case itself when it's folded around on the screen or just on the glass on the back. He also says the application to the Duo's back glass, or I guess front glass as well, is pretty much ideal for this kind of adhesive. So they seem quite confident that this is going to work. Of course, once I get mine in, because I did, if you did not see that, I have backed it to the amount to get one shipped to me. So once I get mine, I will be more than happy to do a video and show it off to you guys, of course. However, if you think this looks interesting to you, 1, or 2, you just want to reward people for trying to create a new product to help out Surface Duo users, I will have a link, of course, to this Kickstarter in the description. Guys, talk about it down below. What do you think? Is this something you want to actually give a shot? Are you going to go over to this Kickstarter page and give them a little bit of love and help them get this thing shipped out? I would love to hear from you guys. Keep in mind how Kickstarter works is if you pledge that money, whatever you pledge, it doesn't get taken from you until this Kickstarter is actually complete. So until it hits that mark, which means it's going to ship, it's a real product now, it's going to have to happen, that money does not get taken from you. So something to keep in mind with Kickstarter there as well. Guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel. I'll see you on the next one. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.